The video you just watched was Deaf Lens. I am taking the perspective of ASL to English. Starting out, the narrator talks about memories. He doesn't have a very good memory, but what he does remember from his childhood accumulated from movies. He used movies as his timeline. He can always remember him and his mom going to the movies, whether the movies had captions for him or if they didn't. He kind of was drawn to the ones that didn't have captions. He felt like just the visuals, just what was going on in the scenes actually was what the story was painting out. He didn't need those captions. And that really inspired him to become a filmmaker. He wanted to be able to present those visuals in his own manner. He speaks about one particular movie, E.T. He loves the opening scene. That's really what caught his attention to become and to be influenced into becoming a filmmaker. So as he grew up, he went to Calvet for film school. He was really inspired by this one professor. He asked his class, back up, this professor was hearing, but he really tried to relate to his class without having to have the interpreter, but sometimes he didn't find his words correctly or he didn't know how to explain it. One assignment he wanted his students to make a film, visual film. What were you experiencing from your perspective? But such as I am right now, he was stumbling for words. He didn't know how to piece that together. And that stuck with the narrator too, and we'll get to that later on. But after that assignment, after he explains more into detail, he moves universities and he goes to more of a tech, to kind of how to piece together those films. When he gets there, he is taught film language, which is kind of just the norms, the rules. They go down a list, they talk about different shots, different angles, how to do this, how to do that. In one of his first films, he really wanted to make it his own. Talks about freshman year, showing this movie. It is in ASL. He talks about how that was a struggle too, later on. But after finishing it, he kind of realizes that, oh, I took all of these norms, all these film language, and I was so excited to put them in to my movie, but I didn't personalize them like I should have. He speaks about a part where a deaf man has a phone. He has no idea to this day why he would have a phone. He was just following the norms. Later on, he figures out that having ASL is really hard to fit in this frame. So I could be signing blah blah blah, I don't like that, but you have no idea what I'm saying if I'm out of the film shot. And that's what he was getting at. That he really wanted to try to make these films his own. So he concocts his own methods. The moral of the story really to me was, you don't always have to follow society's rules. You may be taught one thing, but you can be able to apply that and personalize that in your own ways. A great example he uses is captions are normally down here in a movie. He didn't like that. Eye contact is what he speaks about. You, in movies, in a general sense, you always make eye contact. So why would you have a caption down here if I'm signing up here and you're trying to read the caption? That's two different things going on at the same time that you can't really follow, and he adapts a different scenario in there. So where he takes the captions from down here and he puts them right here. He puts them at eye level. So I could be signing I don't like, and if it just so happens I go off the screen, the captions are right here for you to be able to continue to follow. He kind of ends everything about saying how he realizes how his professor from his first university, he understands what he was trying to say now, that he has words for it now. He says, you have holes in the back of your head and you're looking through my own eyes. That is what he wanted. And that is what the narrator is trying to do throughout his film and throughout his journey of life and his career, is he's trying to adopt a deaf lens into film culture, because it's just so hard for the deaf world and for the hearing world to collide in that sense. When I first started my memory map, composing my visuals and stuff, Deaf Lens spoke to me of different perspectives, and I was so happy to see once I watched the video that I was correct in that way. I also had memories, just because kind of goes into making it personalized, like memories, how they drive you, and lenses to me is just two different perspectives once more. So and he really tries to push that matter of, this is the box, this is what society says, I want to be out here.